Welcome everybody to this review of a rotation sparring set I had with Mickey Krause here late November 2020. And I've been wanting to do this for a while because I wanted to explain exactly how rotation, Filipino rotation that is, how that works and what the rules are, and to show the dynamics a little bit. Immediately we can see a little funky action right out of the gate there. Mickey scratches on the brake and one ends up in the kitchen. Now the first rule is if the cue ball disappears, you have to shoot from behind the line, and you have to shoot, of course, the lowest numbered ball. That is in this case the 1. But the 1 was in the kitchen and you're not allowed to shoot backwards, so the 1 goes on the spot and Mickey made the 6 on the break, and then the 1 gets spotted first with the 6 behind it. So now play resumes, and the rules are to win a rack you have every ball on the table has the value of the number on the ball. So the 9 ball is worth 9 points, the 3 ball 3 points, and the 15 15. Now there's 120 points in a rack, and the first player that gets 60 points normally wins the game. But Mickey and me play with a little bit of handicap, so I have to go to 70 and Mickey goes to 50. So that's the first thing that you can do to adjust the game with perhaps a little bit weaker player or a stronger player. You can make the game really interesting by playing 90-30, or I've heard even of stronger handicaps. Now another rule here is on a kick shot you don't have to hit a rail. So Mickey tried to just nudge the 1 and touch it. And again we see another rule. Here's a big rule. When the ball was not struck, so the 1 was not contacted, the incoming player has the option. The option of what? To take a spot shot or to shoot it from where it is. So I didn't like the position, so I'm taking a spot shot because the lanes are open to the corner pockets. Let's see what happens. I make the ball, I have to power draw to the side rail and hit it hard to avoid getting hooked behind the 3 and 5. Pretty nice little shot. And that rule of taking the spot shot comes into play another time during rotation, and that is when you're fully snookered. So not when you're half snookered, you have to be fully snookered on a ball, and then you can actually give a spot shot away. Now this can sound all pretty confusing, but I promise you, if you play the game for a few hours, these rules will become automatic to you. I've played with a bunch of players, and I also had to go through the learning phase, and it just, it takes a little while, and then it becomes automatic. Like taking the spot shot on a no hit, cue ball goes in, then you shoot from behind the line. If there's a ball in the kitchen, it gets spotted on the spot. And then another rule is you're not allowed to jump the ball with a jump cue, and you can only jump when you're fully snookered. So again, when you're partially snookered, you are not allowed to jump the ball. That's just the rules of the game. And usually when the racks are pretty tight and closed, you see a lot of battles around the spot, like giving away spot shots because the lanes to the corner pockets are closed, and then players have to get creative trying to open up the lanes while playing safe at the same time. And we saw a little example of the spot shot in this rack. Now what I find so fascinating about rotation, for me personally, rotation is the daddy of all other games. And perhaps one pocket. Those two games, if you if you play those games well, you can play all other games well, in my opinion. They used to say straight pool is the father of all games. I disagree personally, and I said this in a previous lesson I did about straight pool, and I love straight pool, but in straight pool you never really have to kick a ball, you're never hardly banking a ball, you're not jumping any balls, you're hardly playing 9-ball safeties, and your shot making is pretty medium. Here I got a little bit unlucky. I tried to draw away 2 rails from that ball or hit it full in the face, and I grazed it half ball, and now I'm in trouble. So here we have a situation, right? I'm fully snookered on the 8. I could give away a spot shot. Every time you come to the table and you're fully snookered, you can give away a spot shot. But the lanes are open. So it's like giving a guy a free chance. So that's why I'm not doing that. I'm opting for the kick. I hit it really sweet, I have to say. So to continue the story about rotation, there is so much in this game. It will never ever bore you, but it will make you mentally totally drained because it's brutal. I mean, the position play, the length of the racks, the mental stamina you will develop from this game is so much better than playing 9-ball or 10-ball. And this is the game that the Filipinos used to play, I believe, in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and then it became more 9-ball and 10-ball in the 90s and upwards. But I said this before, can you imagine living in the Philippines and growing up only playing this game? 15 balls on the table, running out on tough equipment, no magic racks and that stuff, going off balls, tough clusters, opening up caroms. I mean, your game is going to develop so much better. You're going to have so much more arsenal. So I highly recommend it to put this in your training sparring practice. You can also play it by yourself, playing the ghost. Let's see what Mickey does. Mickey hits a really nice shot there. Kicks it in. I was pretty shocked that he made that. I was thinking at least I would get back to the table. And he also was fully snookered on that 8, so he had an option to give the spot shot, but again I would have had an open table. So let's see what he does here. He has the option for a bank. Hits it really sweet. We usually play races to 4, me and Mickey, for a friendly bet, just to make it a little bit interesting. And of course you shoot in rotation, so he made the 8, the 9, the 10, now the 11, and he has to go to 50 points. So I believe when he makes this 12, it's game over and he wins that rack. I put together a few racks out of our session. I believe this is the next rack out of that first set. The way you rack the balls, 1, 2, 3 on the corners. So 1 in the front, 2, 3 on the corners, 15 in the middle. He makes the 2 on the break, so he gets 2 points. And push outs are not allowed. So here, what do you see, guys? He's fully snookered, so he has the option to give a spot shot away or to take it from here. So that's what he's debating. See, he's looking where he can hit the 1. Luckies are allowed in this game, so you don't have to call the ball. You can luck a ball in, so sometimes it pays off to blast into a group of balls and try to make one, if you fancy it. He doesn't like the spot shot for me because the lanes are open again and I can play position. So he's trying to kick to the side of the ball and use the balls in the middle of the table as the blockers, which he did very nicely. I have a potential rail first shot here. Mind you that this cloth is about a week old. The balls are nicely cleaned and fresh. So I'm gonna get way more slide. That means the cue ball will dip towards the short rail faster, and that's why I hit this ball way too full. I was like, woo, didn't hit that one too good. But that shows you that you learn something again. Mickey's looking at a carom off the 12 maybe. What else does he have? He can go half ball on the 1, try to tuck it in behind the 4 and 5, the cue ball. And I think playing this game, guys, together with one pocket, playing Efren in this game in one pocket, I had the most fun on a pool table in my life. He's opting to go for a thin route. Okay. And that is because I played Efren pretty much all games, but in this game especially, you got to see his full arsenal. And I remember a couple of times where I played him once at Turning Stone, and he's like, "Hey Niels, come on, pare, pare, let's go." And we, you know, he got me on the table. We would play race to 5 for 100, and you know, for me that was college money. We would play 70-50. I'm blasting into those balls trying to create something because I couldn't really play safe. I'm trying to get some distance. And I remember once in Turning Stone, he was playing really well and he beat me, I think, in half an hour. I mean, 30 minutes. And I didn't know what happened. He was kicking balls in 2 rails. He was running out from everywhere. I was like, what is going on here? And little bank shot from Mick. He played a little bit too high on the cue ball. If he drew with a hair more, he would have been playing position for the 3 on the left corner there. So a little bit too much stun. And another funky story with Efren was we played in Vegas at the Q Club once, and I think we played for 6 to 8 hours. 70-50 handicap, races to 5 for 100. I broke and ran 4 racks to win a set. I remember that. That was I was down 4-1, ran out the whole set. I was really happy, but with Efren, you just keep going, and he just keeps playing better and better. So after about 8 hours, I was pretty tired. And I said, Efren's 1:30 at night. I said, I had enough. And he's at that time, I think, about 45 years old. We're talking like 2004 or 5, 15 years ago. So no, he was already late 40s, 50 maybe. So what happens is somebody shows up in his face and he says, "Hey Efren, you want to play some $20 one pocket? 20 a game?" And he says, "Yeah, sure." So I'm 26 years old and I'm beat from playing this game for 8 hours. And here comes a guy, and Efren just continues at 1:30 in the morning and plays 20 a game one pocket. And I was like, boy, I just had a ton of respect. I mean, he worked hard on this game and he loved to play. He would play forever. So just a little cool rotation story. And talking about college money, that's what I believe in. If you invest a little bit left and right in your game, playing better players, getting a little handicap, then it will build your game. Because I got back from that trip, boom, I won the next Euro Tour. Because it could only get easier after playing 8 hours rotation. I felt playing 9-ball was like playing on a bar table for about a week or 2 weeks. So, let's see. Mickey didn't hit that 3-ball. Remember, guys, that was a no-hit foul. And that gives me the option to shoot from where it was or take a spot shot. I went for the spot shot. Made the combination. And that opened the balls pretty nice. However, check out this 8-ball. 8-ball's pretty funky. It just passes the 10 down here in the left corner. And I have to get really straight on it, otherwise I'm going to be flirting with the side pocket. If you don't get straight, you have a scratch angle. So I know I need an angle on the 7 about where it is now to go under the 11 and try to get straight on the 9. That gives me a chance to run out. So that's what I'm looking at right now. If I get around the rack area, I can go one rail under the 11 and just touch the second rail and get straight in on the 9. There's the rack area. Looking at that position now. Let's see what happens. I hit it too low and I'm not happy. Right, but I gotta keep going, and I'm thinking, you know what, if I hit it pretty full and I just touch the 14 as so, I'm gonna have him snookered. So what are the options for Mick here? You take the balls, put them under the table to keep track of the score, or you put them in a tray, however you like. You gotta keep track of the score, right? Mickey is fully snookered, so he can shoot it or he can give away a spot shot to me. That's what happens if you're fully snookered, remember? You can give a spot shot, but the right corner pocket is open, so he's thinking that's an instant opportunity for me. So he's trying to kick this ball. Remember, on a kick shot you don't have to hit another rail after contact. So he's trying to just stick it behind the 10. Nicely done. I'm not allowed to jump this ball because I'm fully snookered. I have two options again: give away a spot shot or shoot it from where it is now. I have to shoot it because that right pocket's still open. I'm thinking to masse it, hopefully hit it thin and go 3 rails in between the 12-15. But I hit it too full. Didn't make it. See, this is also interesting with rotation. Some racks can take literally 5 minutes with a break and run. And some games can take up to half an hour, 40 minutes if everything clusters up, etc. Mickey plays another safe, but he leaves me a window to make this ball rail first. I have to use the spider, get over the 14. I'm looking at the mirror system here. Where I have to hit the 8 ball to make it, you take that distance to the rail and extend it out, and that's where your aiming point is. But again, I'm not correcting enough for the cloth, and you see again I'm hitting the ball too full. I'm pretty disappointed with that because I thought I had a bigger chance of scoring there and winning the game. That leaves Mickey with another opportunity to play a decent save, lock me up. He can play the 8 towards the 10, put the cue ball behind the 15. He can put the cue ball behind the 12 like as so and play the 8 in between those balls. He had a bunch of options. But I'm not panicked too much about this shot because I'm thinking, you know what? If I hit this ball on the left side or the right side, I'm going to be using that 14 ball as a blocker. So this is all speed, and the only thing I don't want is to hit it full in the face. But if I hit it with nice slow speed, this 14 is the size of a melon. And the 10 ball, I hit it so nice there that I got it behind the 10 as well. So I was pretty satisfied with that one. Mickey again has the option, shoot it or give away a spot shot, but that lane to the corner is still open, guys, so he doesn't want to do that. From where I was sitting in the chair, I thought it was maybe game over. I'm going to get a chance here, and he probably will hit the right side. There's not much he can do. So I was sitting pretty pleased in the high chair. Mickey's in a really tough spot. However, he hits that ball super good and gives himself a scoring position. I was like, what now? What's going on? Tricky little shot here. You got to cut it with a lot of low right. It's a little bit trickier to aim because the cue ball wants to go into the 8. It wants to hit it thinner. It wants to hit it thicker. That's why you have to compensate a bit. Makes contact with the 14. Now he has to cut the 9. Cue ball to the short rail and come back out past the middle of the table. That's the goal here. See all these little tricky position shots. That will make you a better player, guys. He's wishing the cue ball up. Just got there. $11 ball is on the right side of the table. So he just wants to make this and come 2 rails back and forth. Or, yeah, back and forth. I want to say up and down. But that's off the short rails. Good shot. Oh, that was the 12. The 13's on the right then. So he needs the 12 and it's game over. Good kick. And I lose a couple racks there. Here we continue the show. Neck is breaking. Cue ball gets kicked in. So what do we see, guys? I have to shoot from the kitchen, but the 1 is in the kitchen. That's why he grabs it right away. Boom. See, this becomes more and more automatic. If the 1 would have been in play, I would have had to shoot from the line to the 1, but the 1 was in the kitchen, so now I have to shoot a spot shot. Good example of a scratch and what happens after that. So here, your spot shots will definitely improve also from this game because you're shooting them all the time, and and with funky positions and different speeds. So I have to come in between the 4 and 10 for the 2 ball. Nicely done. The 3 only goes from where I'm at. It only goes in the right side or in the corner, the right corner down below. For natural shapes, otherwise I have to do all kind of Houdini stuff. So I'm trying to play this with a lot of left and come back towards the spot where I am now with the cue ball. That's the goal. It breaks a little bit. A little bit too soft. So now I shoot it. I have a shot to the corner. And what rotation is also very good for, guys, is your mental game. Because you will hit a brick wall after a certain period, especially if you haven't been playing it. You will get tired mentally, and you will start feeling it in your execution, and perhaps a little bit in your confidence, and that is really good practice to push yourself just a little bit more and to train your mind. It's like doing crossword puzzles or playing chess. You're playing for 30 minutes to an hour and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, this is getting pretty tough. And that's when the real training starts happening. Okay, I have the balls pretty open now. And I'm thinking, okay, if I get to the middle of the table, I can go 3 rails towards the right side pocket and I'm going to have a good angle on the 8. But I make a mental error here. A good tip, guys, is I get too straight here. A good tip is, if I would have gotten past the middle of the table, I could have gone side rail, and have the same kind of position. So you have to trick your mind into saying, get to the middle of the table or a little bit further. I didn't do that. I came too short. Now I have to do some kind of crazy inside spin. And I just let the deflection get away from me. And my scoring inning is over. So a good little tip there. Check that position. And make sure you tell your mind, if anything, get too far. Don't get too short. Because if I get too far, I'm still going to be able to play good shape. If I get too short, I won't. So Mickey has no shot here. That's the only positive thing for me. He could play the cue ball behind the 14, 2 rails. Tough shot. Or he can hit it thin and play 3 rails in between the 10-9 and use the 9 as a blocker and the 10 and the 8. Very nicely done. And again, I'm in a bit of trouble. What are my options, guys? I can give away a spot shot because I'm fully snookered, or I have to go for it. But on the kick, I don't have to hit a rail. The lanes are open, so I want to go for this ball, but I don't have a natural angle. The 15's in the way. I have to spin into an angle, and I overjudge it. So what are the options for Mickey here, guys? I had a no-hit foul. Mickey steps to the table. He has the option. Shoot it from where it is, or take a spot shot. His position's pretty good. So he's going 2 rails, back and forth. Bit soft, but he made sure he had the right angle on the 8. Nicely done. Two rails into the angle. I always talk about that. He's coming into the angle. Doesn't matter where he stops there. He's got the correct angle. And then here towards the middle of the table. Nice pinpoint position to fall on the 11. Nicely done. I'm gonna get going in a minute here, guys, with running some balls. I'm getting beat every rack here, I see. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mickey needs the 12, and he misjudged the carom on the 15. He wanted to hit the 15 full in the face and give himself a clear shot on the 12. Misjudged that one. Now he has 2 options that I see. He can bank the ball in the left corner by the chalk, or he could play a safety and try to get the 12 close to the 13 which is not easy. I think I would try to bank this ball. And if anything, try to play it a little bit too thick. So that's called on the pro side, that if you do miss it, it's going to hit just above the chalk and leave a safety. Let's see what he's going to do. A little bit of a funky stroke. That's because he had some problems with the wall there in his cue. And he has a pretty big stroke. So he had a hard time adjusting there. But he doesn't leave anything. My only goal here is to use that 13 and hook him back. I want to hit about a half ball hit on this 12 with a lot of spin. Send the 12 towards the 14 and the cue ball to the right middle diamond. And that's what I wanted to do, but unfortunately the 12 just leaked out from behind the 14, and that leaves Mickey a very thin shot on the 12. He's a bit irritated because the wall's in the way again. My pool room setup used to be an old carport or garage. We call it the garage when we moved in here in Denmark, and it's 4 meters 40 wide. So the only time you get into trouble is if the cue ball's frozen on the rail and you get a shot that's almost parallel to the other side. But you have to adjust. For the rest, it's very it's wide enough. So I left that shot. Mickey won that game, and that was another good example of some options for spot shots and why we didn't take them. Mickey's putting the 1 in the front, the 2 and 3 on the corners, and the 15 in the middle. He's getting ready to break the balls. I remember also playing this against Leonardo Andam, who's not with us anymore, unfortunately. I think my first visit ever to the Philippines, about 15 years ago, I played him a set of 9-ball and then a set of rotation, and then a set of 9-ball and a set of rotation, and we played for about 6 to 8 hours. And I was kind of expecting his rotation to be, of course, as a Filipino, it would be jam up, which of course it was. But I was hoping that my 9-ball would be good enough to beat him in the 9-ball sets and then steal a couple of rotation, right? And it turned exactly the other way around. He was winning all the 9-balls and I was winning all the rotations. So after about 6 or 8 hours, we played, I believe, 3-3 or 4-4. So we called it a day. But that was great. It's like in Makati, I think, there was a bowling center and they had about 12 or 16 tables. We played a tournament there, TV tournament, invitational, and we were just playing there every night. Boosty was there, Efren, Andam, and then the medium players in the Philippines, they played jam up, so there was always 10, 20 players there. You could play 20 hours a day if they show up. What do I have here? Long shot on the 1. Got no position. I can't play safe. I'm afraid that if I make this ball, I'm going to carom the 8 and the cue ball will go to the left corner. But I don't have many options. I'm going to swing at it and curve the cue ball away from the scratch a little bit. Boom, that's what I'm doing. And take it from there. Nice shot. I couldn't get any position really. You have to be playing safe sometimes in a little bit of a different way. I can't really snooker him here, but if you leave a lot of distance and there's balls in the way, just leaving a long diagonal or tough shot can also be productive. Of course, I want to get the cue ball froze on the rail. There was just not much there. And what's funky also sometimes is, let's say for example the lanes to the corners now are totally blocked, or the spot is blocked. Then it's really tricky to play a perfect save, because let's say Mickey plays a perfect save here and the spot isn't open, then I will just keep giving him a spot shot. So his great save will never get rewarded. And in that way it's a little bit funky. You have to be more aggressive, or you have to trick your opponent and reverse the safety table by not hooking him fully. So now he has to play the saves. So there's a lot in the game. Also a lot of tactical stuff. I can make the 2 on the side. Trying to get to the middle of the table, past the 7. To get a tricky shot on the 3. That's how it is. That's why you just become a better player. This is like a standard position shot. So you learn to play shape for tough shots. I mean, this is not an easy shot, but that's just a rotation shot. Where in 9-ball maybe the 7 wouldn't have been there and you come closer. But here you have to play different kinds of positions. So draw it past the side and try to come for the 4 in the corner. Nicely done. Here I'm thinking, if I stay inside the 6 ball, then I can just draw it back out for the 7 in the side. So I just want to touch the rail. Little bit too hard. But I believe the 7 passes the 8 and the, what is it there, the 14. So I can play to that corner. Stop my ball. Stop the rock. Here's a nice position shot. You want to come 2 rails towards the middle diamond on the left there where I'm looking now, because I need to come back down table for the 10. First I was thinking I'm going to lay it under the 9, but I felt I had a little bit too much of an angle on the 8. I'm going the other way, but I just hit it a hair too soft. And I can't just follow this ball now, because it's gonna curve too much because of the new cloth. On a club table you could probably still do it with high left, but I'm thinking, I'm gonna go towards the side pocket. So I'm trying to punch this out with just above middle ball and punch it straight down. Ooh, look what happens, guys. I don't hit it well enough and I tie up the 15 on the 11. At this moment we've been playing for about 2 hours and I won the first set 4-3. A bit fortunate. This is the second set and I had a great chance there to make it 1-1, keeping it open. But now what do? First I was thinking go all the way into the kitchen and back out, try to open them up. Then I'm thinking, no, that's too tough. Then my plan B was to play for a bank on the 11. So put it in between the 12 and 13 for position there. And see if I can bank the 11. Tough situation I'm in. And also what's difficult is the same as an 8-ball. You do all that work. You almost get to the finish line, and if you make a mistake then it's just game over. If you can't play safety, you just get punished so hard. To make a nice bank here, but the cue ball is very close to the rail. And this is an optical illusion sometimes, where the point of the side pocket, it gets a little bit in your line of vision. And I don't hit this ball very well. So at this moment in the sparring session, I'm almost getting there. Right? I don't hit that ball well. I sell out the rack. So mentally I have to make an adjustment. I'm a little bit tired at this moment. It's about lunchtime. So I feel we need a small break, get some lunch, and resume play from there. We're about 2 hours into our sparring, and I believe in deep work blocks, remember? Between an hour and 2 hours, and then take a small break. Ooh, Mickey flirted with that one. Don't think he took the right route there. I think he could have done something with inside spin and just avoid that 15 altogether. He took a big chance of getting hooked. And he's still stuck with a medium tough shot. Makes it. I promise you guys, after the break here, you're gonna see some more run out rotation. So stick with it. Mickey needs to make this 15. Here we go. We took a lunch break and we resume play. Got some fresh energy. Mickey has a shot on the 1 to the right corner. Not easy, but the situation's laying pretty smoothly in the sense that he doesn't have to play pinpoint position. If he makes this ball, the cue ball will come down table and the 2's laying in front of the corner. So basically all he has to focus on is make the ball. Not easy at all. But he doesn't have to focus on position. Hits it too thin. Now here's an interesting shot, guys, because I've learned this over the years. When a ball's in the pocket and you're close to the side pocket shooting straight at that ball, as here, if you just line it up with low left, the scratch in the side is huge. I've scratched in the side so many times. So my mind is recognizing that at this moment. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't want to just hit it low left. I want to take some of the spin off and a tip higher. See? And that's why I'm passing the side. And I'm coming a couple of rails around the table and give myself some room for a shot on the 2. The 4 is on the right rail there by the cue ball. So this is a tricky position shot. And I believe, if I remembered correctly, I overrun this ball. Because we had about a half-hour break. We didn't warm up anymore. So my touch was not really clicked in yet. Overrun it. So again, I'm fully hooked here, guys. What are my options? I can take the shot from where it is, or I can give away a spot shot. But the 4 ball, I believe, just passes the 11. And that's why I don't take it, or I'm not reading it well, I'm not looking at it well enough. And I'm not taking the, I'm not giving away the spot shot. So, made a couple of balls. Nothing too fancy yet. Mickey has a safety option. I think the shot, the combination on the 10 is a little bit too tricky. He can play it safe. He's thinking about sending the 4 ball towards the 10 and 8, 2 rails or 3 rails. Stick the cue ball a little bit behind the 5. There. Good speed. It's nicely done. Can't see the ball. And my goal here was to try and play it with a lot of topspin and right hand English. That topspin would reverse off the short rail and it would become kind of a stop shot, and the right spin I wanted to use to just maybe get the cue ball behind the 10 and 8. Very tricky shot, especially when it's laying so high. If the 4 is a little bit more towards the corner, you can do it easily, more easily and softer. But here I'm thinking I need some speed. Try and use that 10 and 8. Boom. I do, but I got fortunate to lock in the ball. But that's what happens sometimes. You come with a positive stroke and you get not rewarded, but you get some good action. Can't call it a reward because it's luck. So here I'm trying to clear away from the 12. Get myself a little bit more in open play. Come 2 rails around the 11. And I want to get a little bit past the middle of the table to give myself an angle on the 8 ball, guys, to go to the right side of the table towards the 9. If you're coming short here, it's very hard to come towards the 9. See, I'm just passing the middle of the table, good speed, and now I have a great angle. Draw it back a little bit. Here I want to draw in between the 12, 13. Nice interesting shot because you can draw behind the ball, you can hit a ball and get stuck. See, you have to control the cue ball pretty well. Now I'm getting really more in open play. This looks more like 9 ball and 10 ball, right guys? There's no more clusters. Only thing is I need 3 more balls. And the 12's a little funky. So I'm deciding to play the 12-15 combo, and that's all I need. So I'm coming 2 rails here, guys. Watch this position. Some amateurs play 1 rail And then if they come short, they have a funky shot. I'm coming 2 rails into the shot on the 12. See, I'm even overrunning the ball a little bit, but I still have the correct angle. Boom. I'm on the board, 2-1. I wish they would have a tournament someday with this. Now people are thinking organize it. No. But it would be great, just an invitational, 16 players. I know Pat Fleming put up a lot of his Make It Happen tournaments. It would be a great idea if he puts on a rotation version. And I was talking to Mickey about this. I sat in the chair watching Efren throw 15 balls on the table, and in tough position he would put 8 balls on the long rail, just like 8 balls in the middle of the table clustered up, and he would start running out. Am I making a ball here? Nope. He would start running out, play all kinds of caroms, kiss shots. It was beautiful to watch. And maybe it's a shout out I'm doing now. If anybody ever videotaped that, please share it, put it online, because it's, I mean, that's probably some of the best pool I've watched in my life. I mean, watching somebody practice. And Mickey's playing from the bank here on the 2. Besides that, there is not much footage of rotation out there. Boosty and Efren played an exhibition set once. There's a small clip of Biado and Alcano playing some rotation. Alcano and Efren. There's not even 5 matches on online of rotation, I believe, which is kind of a shame. He overdrew this ball just slightly. He's looking if he can come 2 rails with follow in between the 11 and the side pocket. He's changing his mind. And I think he should have gotten up there and just had an extra look at it. Because now he's in a pretty funky position. He has to go around the table. I think again here, looking at this situation, he could go 2 rails in between the 7-10 and play it kind of from where he puts his tip now. But he decides to hit it much harder, and that gets him in trouble. So if you guys saw that, I believe he could have played it softer and had a shot on the 6 ball. Now again, if he's fully snookered, he can give away a spot shot, or he has to shoot it from where it is if he can see it. And I think it's hard to see from this angle, but as you can see, the left corner pocket's wide open, so he's thinking that spot shot's not really gonna help him at all. So a kick would be with some right spin, try to hit half ball and send the 6 in between the 8 and 11. He almost got there. Still very tough. We're taking the balls out of the table, out of the pockets. Now I can cut this ball in maybe, But I'm going to run into the 9, then probably hit the 13 or the 11, whatever it is there. And I'm not going to have any position on the 7. The safety, I have to hit it real thin and use the 8 and 11. I'm thinking here, you know what? I can see this ball really good. I can put a nice draw on it with low right. I'm going to shoot this ball. I'm going to go for it. Bank the ball in, draw it off the rail, and I got shape on the 7 in the side. So sometimes if you prefer, you can also be very, I wouldn't call it aggressive, but more assertive. You can have a whack at it. So you can switch also between styles of play. Maybe a little more defensive sometimes. On other occasions, a little more aggressive, assertive. Same as one pocket, really. The 9 passes the 14 there, so I can roll it forward. I'm putting a touch of right spin on it to lengthen it out here off that rail. Boom, good example. Bit short. I want to play one rail out for the 10-12 combination. And these shots are trickier than they look because you can get a pretty bad contact on them. And you have to really hit them soft. There, just got away with it. Make the combo. Again, this is a shot that I take a look at because beginning players or amateur players, perhaps they just make the combo, and what happens sometimes is the cue ball goes towards the long rail and the 10 ball goes more towards the short rail, and you end up with no shot. So you have to make sure you hit it on the right side. You see that 10 ball? It wants to go to that short rail, so you have to be very careful that you hit it with good speed and direction. That's something that comes with experience from messing it up a few times. And then you think, oh, I have to be a little more careful in this shot. Again here, the 13 only goes into the left corner. So if I get straight on this 11, I have nothing. I have to come a little bit on the inside there of the 11. Because I can't really play it for the side pocket. 15's in the way. So I just want to roll this ball in with a little bit of spin. Just got there. See, interesting layouts, great for your execution and touch training. This game, highly recommended. Start playing this game, guys. It's awesome. Got to power this ball to the side rail. It's about the best that I could do. And just checking the score. I need the 13 to close this one out. And another point on the board. Tied up the set, 2 games each. And I learned this a long time ago in the mental game. When you're struggling a little bit, this is a really great tip. When you're struggling a little bit, what a lot of players tend to do is they compare their game to what they think they should be playing, their A game. They want to play their A game, right? Everybody wants to play their best game. But it's not happening at this moment. So they're stuck in their mind with man, I'm playing like this, and I should, or I ought to, or normally I want to play like this, their best game. So I learned, and I've been there. I've done this many times, trust me. And one of my former mental coaches, he told me, listen, if you're standing at the bottom of a mountain and you're a mountain climber, do you think you can just hop up there and get to the top right away? So the obvious answer is no. Nice little break there. So he says, well, that's the same as your mental game there. You cannot expect to just hit that A game in 1 second. You're struggling, you're maybe tired, you're not executing. You have to climb that rock step by step. Good example there. I was fully hooked, just to interrupt the story. I was fully hooked and I gave away a spot shot because, as you can see now, the lanes are closed. The 14's blocking the right pocket, the 10 and 2 the left pocket. So here we get to see a little bit of a spot shot development situation. But that mental thing, it's a really good analyzing tool because it relaxes you more. You just cannot expect to show up and the next inning you're playing jam up. You have to climb that ladder, be patient, focus on good things, small steps, good habits, and work your way up the rock of your level. And then slowly but surely you're climbing yourself back into good form, better execution, a clearer mind, better focus, less frustration. All these things start building up into a more positive picture. So that's a good tip. Mickey tried to open up the spot and send the cue ball down table, but he gave me a shot. When I watched that, I still cannot believe I went in between the 14 and 10. I was trying to hit the 14 and block it for the, or stop it for the 2. And I was like, how can you not hit any of those balls? But learn something. Here I'm thinking, you know what? If I make this ball, I might hit the 15 and get a shot on the 3. So I'm playing pretty aggressive now. I'm not playing safe. Just double checking my strategy on this shot. Like, what do I want to do? And again, I missed the 4 and the 15, but the speed is good enough. When I remember this correctly, I think in the end I decided to play that speed to come 3 rails back up table. Yeah, I remember that now. So I decided not to make contact and play that route. And I was thinking, if I do make contact, I could get lucky and get a shot. So that's why I got up and changed my game plan. Here I'm thinning this. This is kind of a nice Filipino shot that I learned. That even if you have a thin cut, you can still do a lot with it. Get nicely around the table. And I'm just checking my angle on the 5. Because what I'm worried about, if I get too much angle, I'm gonna hit the 8 ball and I could get into trouble. Where if I just, let me see what I'm deciding. I want to get an angle where I can just roll it in and avoid contact on the 8. That's what my plan is. You see, so all these little decisions you have to make, adjustments, touchy shots. It's a beautiful game. I love this game. It's tough when you're struggling, but when it's starting to roll a little bit for you, it's amazing the racks that you can run out. Just running out one game can be so satisfying. Of course, I've been I've been playing for a while, right, guys? I've been playing 9-ball for over 25 years, so for me personally, there's not much in the game anymore that triggers me and excites me, because I've seen so many of the same things. But for this game and one pocket, for instance, still there's like almost every rack there's interesting stuff showing up. Almost missed that one, but that's normal. If you've been playing a game for over 20 years, it's normal that you try to switch it up a little bit. And for me personally, it's just way easier to concentrate also, because the game is so challenging. And if we have a good challenge, right, we have a bigger chance of getting into the zone. The zone is where we feel best and our focus is best and our execution's really high. Ran out that game, break and run out. Or was it? No, it wasn't a break and run. I can't remember, because I'm telling the story. But the zone is when our focus is optimal and our execution is really high and relaxed. So it's a great experience. People call it the bubble, the zone, flow. Everything goes automatic. And they did research on this. And in order to reach that state, you need a challenge that is high enough that it doesn't create too much pressure, so it doesn't break you. Then that would mean that the challenge is too high. But if the challenge is too low, you get bored. And that's what I find sometimes when I'm practicing, for instance, 9-ball. I just get bored because the challenge, in a way, is not high enough anymore. Of course, when I'm competing, it's a different story. Then the competitive tournament thing comes in, and the competition creates the challenge. But just practicing the game, no, I'm just sorry. I apologize. There's not much in it anymore. Whereas if I'm playing rotation or one pocket, the challenge, the game itself challenges just me so much that my focus switches into a different gear, and just running out one tough rack can be just an amazing experience. Now running out a couple of racks, that's even better. Here, for example, you would think, okay, just go around the table, a couple of rails for the 2. Well, if I hit this with high left, there's a really big chance I can collide with that ball laying on the short rail. So I have to put more spin onto it to come sooner into the short rail there, avoid that ball and come back around for the 2. You see, shots like that is just, for me, it's just super cool if I can execute them. It feels great. I just put it on a dime. I'm on the 2, thinking, okay, 3 in the side, get a decent angle on the 4 that I can go one rail for the 6. There's not much to that. There's not much to this shot, but after that it starts again. And I see something interesting here that I overlooked yesterday while playing this. I was gonna say that the 7, making the 7 and getting back for the 8 is tricky because of the 15. But look here now. Now we can see actually that the 7 also goes into the corner in where I'm standing now, the top corner. So I think I should have adjusted my game plan a little bit. I overlooked that route. Let's see what I do. I'm trying to come with inside. Don't hit it good enough. See, my game plan should have been a little different there. I should have played more open position on the 6, and then I could have used the top corner on the 7, because also the 8 passes that 13, or what is it that's laying in the kitchen there. The 8 goes into both corners, so I had more options. However, I'm still feeling assertive and aggressive. And I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to bank this ball and come in between the 12-10. Even a little higher. And I'm going to take my chances. Nice shot. And again, a little challenging position. I can't just hit this with low left because I'm going to hit the 15 and I'm coming totally out of position. I have to hit the rail there, avoid contact with the 15, but put enough spin on it that I can carry it back towards the 8. So I'm deciding in the end to play it with a lot of high left and run into the 12. Use the 12 as a speed blocker. Nicely done. So as promised, guys, a little more run out pull here in rotation. I can't go my preferred route, which would be just stun with left in English 2 rails out of the corner because that ball's laying on the left. I have to reverse it with high right spin and bring it towards the 9. I need 4 more balls. I can play a stop shot here for the 10 in the corner or draw it back for the side. That's what I'm doing. 3 more balls for the set win. And I hope you enjoyed this, guys. This was just a little bit of inside information of the rules, the tactics, the runouts, the mental side of rotation. Pick this game up. You're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to see your game evolve and improve. And if you like these videos, please subscribe and more to come. Take care.